Introducing Naturally You, a podcast celebrating the unfiltered stories of inspiring women, each one as rare, radiant, and resilient as a natural diamond. Welcome to Naturally You. I'm so excited because today we have Lindsey Carter. She is the founder and CEO of Set Active, one of my favorite personal brands, and I love you as like an entrepreneur, and I'm so excited to have you here today.
Oh my God, that's so kind. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad that we can make this work. I'm not in New York for a long time, but I'm here for a good time, and this is part of that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm glad you were able to squeeze this in. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about, your origin story. Like, how did you, start Set Active?
Yeah, so I went to school at the University of Arizona. I actually got my degree in early childhood education.
Okay.
I love kids, love kids. If it were up to me, I'd probably have like a whole summer camp worth of kids in terms of children. My husband's you're insane. But I realized when I was in school that once I got to my senior year and I had to do all of the on-site hours for class or student teaching and stuff like that, I was like, oh, this is not for me. But it was my senior year of school and I was like, what am I going to do? Yeah. So I got my degree and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to figure it out. And so I left, and my first job out of college was actually at NBC Universal.
Okay.
And that's really where I started to realize my passion for storytelling and social media. It was a time that no one was really utilizing their social media as a vehicle to tell a story. And I was obsessed with it. I was pitching shows left and right. I'm like, we should do this. Have you seen these two girls on social media? They're blowing up and they started this brand. And everyone would look at me like I was crazy.
What year was this?
Oh my gosh. This was 2013.
Okay. So early days.
Yeah. It was early, yes, social media was a thing, but social media wasn't a thing in the sense that they were using it as storytelling for marketing.
Photos,
yeah. And so I just became obsessed with it, but I didn't think that there could ever be a career from it. So I left NBC Universal and ended up going to a trend forecast company where I wrote reports on trends and how to spot them, how to market your brand with what's trending and what's not. Wrote reports on how to build a cult following for a brand. And it was when SoulCycle was on the rise. So I did a whole report on why SoulCycle was a cult following and what made it so special. Again, loved doing it, but didn't realize that it could be something that filled my cup or something where I would find passion and purpose. And then from there, I was the marketing manager at Variety magazine. And that's where I started to find my passion for strategy in storytelling. And I was like, okay, there's a common theme here. One of which was storytelling and social media, and one of which was I don't like having a boss. Because I just always, I didn't like being told what to do. And from there, I was like, I think I'm just I'm gonna quit. I went home to my little tiny 1-bedroom apartment and I was crying, and my boyfriend, who's now my husband, was like, well, what do you want to do in 5 years? And I was like, I just want to work for myself and I want to do something in social media. I just want to be an entrepreneur. I always knew that being an entrepreneur was something that I was going to end up doing. And he was like, well, why wait 5 years? And I was like, well, I don't know. And he's like, well, what do you want to do first? And I was like, well, I feel like a social media agency, that's what makes the most sense. And he was like, well, why can't you just do that now? And I was like, oh, I don't have a website. And he was like,
make one.
He was like, okay, well, we know people who make websites. Why don't you reach out and see if they would be willing to help you? And he was right. And that's what happened. And I walked into work the next day and I was like, bye, I'm quitting.
To start a social media.
Yeah, to start a social media agency with a really like old friend of mine who worked at E with me on the same floor. So her and I started it together. It was called LA Social, but it was spelled phonetically kind of. And basically started that, had a bunch of clients, and it was great because we got to do social media for so many different brands and people, but we were so I wouldn't say desperate, but you know, when you own an agency, there's a ceiling of like how much you can make. Not that money was everything to us, but we needed to be like a business where we could live off of it. And we had like a sock company, and I was like, I am not passionate about any of these brands. And because I wasn't feeling passionate about the brands, I like couldn't come up with the strategy to save my life. So I was like signing all these contracts, and I was like, oh my God, like, is this right for me? Is this the right next step? But we did it for a year, or maybe it was 2 years. And I was sitting at a coffee shop in West Hollywood, and I was waiting to sign another contract with a client, and I was watching all these girls walk in, everyone wanting to look sporty and like off duty, no matter what your career was. Yeah. But no one was in a matching set. And I remember just like watching every single person walk in. The poor girl that was like in the meeting with me, like I think I was so just like, I had the idea. Yeah. And from there I was like, oh my God, that's it. So the meeting ended. I ran home to my apartment, and I said to my intern, I'm like, cancel all my meetings. We're going to the Grove, and I want to feel every piece of activewear at every single store at the mall. Like that's, she's like, what? She's like, looking at me like I was crazy. Like, and I was like, no, I'll tell you why. And that was sort of the start to how Set Active was born. I was like matching sets to simplify the way that you get dressed.
And I remember when matching like activewear sets started to become a thing, and one of my friends showed up to like a Pilates class, and I was like, oh my God, you look so cute. And then I was like, why don't they just have that? Because I want to wear that even when I'm not working out. Yeah. And you have such a community built around Set Active. So from that initial spark and idea, like how did you unwind your former business and like ultimately launch a clothing line without any like experience?
It's all figured out as you go, if I'm being honest. Like, you take it day by day, you ask questions, you ask for help, you have to put your ego aside, you have to have conversations about what it is that you want to do, because you never know who will speak up and say, I know someone who can help you. For community, for me, I felt like I was always a part of athletic team or a soccer team. I had a good group of friends in high school, but I always was in my head about just like feeling included or just wanting to feel like I belonged somewhere. And so when I had the opportunity to start my own business that was forward facing, that would have consumers be a part of that, I was like, well, community, duh. Like, it just was something that innately came to me. And at the time when I started Set, no one was focusing on community. It was just like, buy this, thank you. And it wasn't like, buy this, here's why, who are you, what do you like, what do you want to see from us? And I felt that there was so much value in that, because consumers are spending their hard-earned money on your product. You need to connect with them, you need to understand them, you need to build with them so that they feel like investors in the brand.
Definitely. And in such like a competitive space, like how did you set yourself apart? Like, did you take a lot of inspiration from what you were hearing from your community?
Yeah, I remember, I'll never forget, it was on my personal Instagram. I had like maybe 2,000 followers at the time. And I remember I could not for the life of me decide on the first pink I wanted to launch with. And I remember being in the car and having 2 examples of pinks, not lab dips, not Pantone colors, like just 2 examples I had from my closet, a more cool toned mauvey pink and more of like a pungent peach, like undertone, brighter pink. And I remember posting on my story and saying like, what do you guys like? And at the time, Instagram didn't have the poll feature. So I was like, respond to my DM. And I, that night, sat at my dining room table tallying all the responses, and I went with the majority vote. And so when that pink came and dropped, it sold out.
Because everyone who voted definitely bought it.
Exactly. And I just think that there's something so special in treating your consumer as a part of the DNA of the brand, because I'm not yes, of course I want to wear the clothes and I get to wake up every single day and put my clothes on that I make, but I'm making the clothes for them. So I need to listen to what they want. I want them to feel seen. I want them to feel heard. I want them to feel validated. And it's such a core competency of who we are as a brand that I think other brands started to catch on. As a brand overall, like I didn't feel like I belonged to any of the other activewear brands. There was super technical, and I was like, I don't really work out that much at the time. I try to work out now. I realized how important it is for your body and your mental health, and now it's like changed my life. But at the time I was just like, I don't need to work out. I wasn't into yoga, and Aloe was very focused on yoga in the beginning, and so a lot of their marketing collateral was yoga poses, upside down handstands. I was like, ooh, I definitely can't do that. So I didn't feel like I belonged there. There was my girl, Ty. I love her, Ty Haney from Outdoor Voices, which she just announced that she's coming back. Yes. I'm so excited for her. But she, the focus for Outdoor Voices was recreational. Again, it was something that I didn't feel like I connected to. And so I was like, gosh, like there has to be an activewear brand for the everyday girl. Like you had Athleta that was like covering moms and the older generation. And I was just like, there's nothing for the everyday girl who's like doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And that's really how it all came about.
And you guys are known for, these like drops and collabs. Do you feel like that is a strategy that keeps, your community like really engaged and excited for like what's next and what's new?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think drops are always going to be a part of what keeps a brand innovating and interesting and all the things that you just said. However, brands aren't into, that sellout drop model anymore. They want inventory that can last. They're still excited about drops because they know it's something new. They know that it's something like that special edition. But now, especially this year and going into next year, we've completely changed our buy so that it's in stock for a while, so that people don't have that anxiety when they're checking out.
It is anxiety ridden.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I like even last night at the community dinner, a lot of the girls were like, do we get early access for the park drop? And I was like, you guys are going to be fine. Like we bought tens of thousands of units. Like I don't anticipate this selling out. And the products that we do think are going to sell out, we've already prepared pre-order on the back end, because you never also know until the marketing rollout starts what people gravitate towards. And I would say 9 times out of 10, what our internal HQ thinks is going to sell out is always the opposite of what the community sells out. Yeah, so it's hard. It's hard to guess, and you can have all the data in the world and you still get it wrong. Yeah, I think that next year we're changing up our strategy to have our core collection just be black, and then we're going to introduce seasonal shops that are in stock for 3 months at a time. So we'll do a spring shop, we'll do a fall winter shop, we'll do a summer shop, and that way we can reiterate and reanimate on like the exciting things that are in stock for 3 months. Then we'll have our collab drops, then we'll have our limited edition drops, and then we'll have holiday.
I love that. And, from the outside looking in, it seems like, just a smooth sailing, like trajectory, like you had this idea and then created this amazing community, and you have this super successful flourishing business. But I know you've been candid about, the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, and I'd love to hear a little bit about, any struggles you've had, throughout your journey.
I mean, so many. I think what most people don't realize, no matter how honest and transparent I am on social media, is that when I started the brand, I was a baby. Like I was in my 20s, my mid 20s, at a time where like most people feel so lost, so confused. They don't know what their passion is. They don't know what their next move is going to be. And I was learning how to be an adult. So I definitely made mistakes, and I definitely, I said this at our community dinner last night. of course, the mistakes were hard to make because, you know, they affected how I led as a CEO and founder. I've had relationships ruined. I mean, you name it. But without those mistakes, then I wouldn't be able to grow. And so I've kind of reframed my mindset on failure and mistakes as a positive thing, because now I know that any setback I have is only going to make me a better person, no matter how hard that setback is, or maybe something I said that I shouldn't have said, or led in a way that I shouldn't have led. And that's been hard. I feel like no one tells you when you're building a business how hard it is to manage, you know, employees and personalities and learning how to motivate. It's something I never, like, no one told me.
Yeah, I think similarly, like, I started my business when I was 26 and had no idea how to do any of these things. And you're meant to design, manufacture, raise money, and hire people and be HR.
It's a lot. And boundaries get blurred, and it's really hard. Like, at first I remember wanting to be like all my employees' best friends.
Same, I was like, and I don't want to do that anymore. Sorry, guys.
I was like, I want them to feel like they can come to me. I want to be a big sister to them. And I realized, like, that was not helping. It was hurting more than ever. And so you have to find that balance of being approachable, where people can come into your office and tell you things, where they feel heard and seen, but also drawing the boundary of making sure that you're staying in the lane to build your vision. Because at the end of the day, it is my vision that I'm building. I just need the right people on the team to execute that and believe in that vision. I think also what other people haven't, like, told me or advice is, like, you will grow, and then you will crash, and then you will stabilize, and you'll grow again. And it's all about figuring out how to navigate those waters. There's no rule book. There's no blueprint to being a CEO and founder, especially in the D2C space. And you have to kind of build that own blueprint for yourself. And I think that that's something, again, no one tells you, and it's hard to navigate. I also, like, talked about this with the community last night, but I think that people tell you that you're going to have hard days. And the biggest piece of advice I got when I was starting my business was, you have to be able to push past the hard days, because that's what's going to separate you from other founders. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I lost my mom when I was young. I lost my best friend to cancer in high school. Like, I know hard. But this is not grief hard. This is not hard where your parents ground you for doing something wrong, or you're in a fight with one of your best friends, or your day feels ruined. This is a hard that is so unexplainable that if you're not in that journey, you will never understand that hard. And that's the hard that people were warning me about.
Yeah. And I think, like you mentioned, that is something that comes with entrepreneurship. That's something that you can't really prepare for until you're there. Like, when you have a normal career, it's, you know, kind of, you get promoted, you go in this upward trajectory, but there's so many factors at play when you have your own business. You know, the economy, COVID, like, who knows? And I feel like since you launched your brand, and even we did around the same time, the world has been so different every single year. It's really hard to plan for. And I think you mentioned before that 2023 was really hard for you, for us too. And
I think it was hard for a lot of brands.
And when we started, D2C was like this hot thing. Now, like, I don't see a lot of new D2C brands coming up, or if they do, they're really different, or a lot went out of business. So to still be standing is a real testament to being able to, like, pivot and endure, I think.
I think, you know, it was really eye-opening for me yesterday. I stopped in one of my favorite brands stores. Like, we had, I think, a quick 20 minutes, and it happened to be around the corner from our hotel. It's called Osa. It's these cute little phone cases. And the founder, who we've been wanting to meet, me and Chelsea, for like a long time, was there. And we were just chatting, and she used to own this brand called Freedom Moses, and they were like these sandals that kind of looked like Birkenstocks, but they could get wet, and they were really cute colors. And I remember, like, dying for a pair, but they were always sold out. You couldn't get them anywhere. Shopbop, on the website for the D2C brands, like, you name it, it was not in stock. And I remember being like, wait, that's so epic. And I was talking to her yesterday, and I was like, so why isn't it around anymore? And she was like, well, we just didn't innovate fast enough. And I think that that's such a signifier for if you're building a D2C brand, like you have to continue to reiterate on bestsellers and innovate if you want to continue to be a standing brand that's amongst the market. And if you don't, then you will fade to the bottom.
Because it seems like Set Active is thriving now. So you've come out of, that low point. What are some ways that you have innovative, or like some tips that you can give to founders?
I think it was just blocking out the noise and honestly like having a like woo-woo moment with myself of like, why am I doing this? Like, what makes me so excited? And it goes back to where I found inspiration. I remember in the beginning, I would find inspiration for colors at the nail salon. I would look through all the like fake nails on the spin wheel and be like, that would be such a good color for a set. And I remember being so invigorated by that I just like got back to Pinterest. I got back to the things that I love. I got back to understanding the core competency of like who we are. I think in 2023, I kind of like really tested the waters, and trust me, like you have to take risks to see what will stick at the wall. But I think we just took too many risks and expanded way too quickly I think it confused the consumer. And I just kind of simplified back to like why I started Set. And I think that started to resonate with, the community, and they're like, okay, they're back. Like, here we go. And I think that, I feel confident in saying that I think that we were one of the first to have fun with contrast and have fun with layering and different trends that are now huge right now. And so that was like us kind of innovating on something that Active wasn't doing.
Your trend forecasting background.
And it's come to my advantage because Kira and I have basically all of 2026 planned out, creative, product, line plans, you name it. And I'm just really excited about where the brand's headed.
I'm really excited too. So throughout all of this business building, you also got married and had 2 children.
Yes.
How do you manage or balance all of that? Like, as someone who, I just had my son almost a year ago now, and throws you for a loop.
Yeah.
Because your priorities, like, this was my first child and now I have like a real child,
Yeah. I think that, it was definitely hard getting married. Like, I feel like as you grow and become successful, like that could ruin a relationship or it can make you stay together, as any hardship that you go through with a significant other in life. And my husband has just been so supportive from day one. He is the reason I quit the corporate world. I think that it just comes down to boundaries and prioritizing your boundaries. It takes a village also. It really does. Like, I'm not able to do what I do without my assistant, without my nanny, without a lot of the team members. I purposely put Kira and Allie, who's my COO, in the positions that they're in because I trust them with my whole life and I know that they protect me to the ends earth. And so having people in those leadership roles and those C-suite roles that, one, believe in you, don't judge you on your hard days, understand the vision, are excited about the vision, like that, those are such key hires and key people to build what you're building because they will help you protect those boundaries as well. And I think that it's just so important to understand like when you have to say no. And I think that's what's been really helpful with navigating kids and marriage and business and employees and all of the things. But I've also been someone who thrives in chaos. I've been that way since I'm little. Like, I'm always go, go, go. I was always a million miles a second. I love that life. Like, it makes me excited. And some people will say it drains them, but it actually recharges my battery. But I am an extrovert introvert. So
am I.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, now I'm really understanding like what actually fills my cup. And it's mostly nights at home in sweatpants with friends or my kids versus going out and having plans, where before it was, I wanted dinner every single night of the week. So it's just really being in tune with you, what fills your cup, and balancing that, being able to say no, having boundaries, learning how to prioritize. I treat every day differently and I prioritize from there.
And being able to, one thing is for me, like being able to ask for help and being like, I can't do everything by myself anymore.
Totally.
I'm admiring your beautiful engagement ring. Is that the ring that you got engaged with originally?
It's not.
Because it's very trendy.
No,
it's a beautiful bezel set.
Thank you so much. No. It's not the ring I got engaged with. My ring that I got engaged with was it was a gorgeous oval that I just had on a pave band. And then I reset it to be a bezel signet ring. And then it was I've been with my husband for 12 years. So it was just a nice little gift to get an upgrade ring. And I designed this one. One of my best friends represents a lot of jewelry brands. It's called Stacked Reservoir. And so she helps me design, she helps me do
love all everything. Of your stacking and jewelry.
That is all her. I can't take any credit for it, but she represents all these brands, and she's able to style you based on who you are and your style, your fat, what you wear, all the things, what looks good on your skin tone. I would have never paired this charm with
I was looking at that and I was like, that's an interesting pairing, but it works so well.
It just works. Yeah. And she's the one, she was like, here, take this, put it on here. I was like, I can't add another necklace. I'm gonna
no, it looks
down.
Great.
But yeah.
So because you have such great jewelry style, I want to play a little diamond engagement ring game with you.
Okay.
I know we were admiring these before, but these are all different engagement rings in our collection. Everything we make is custom, but just want to give a range to show you different styles, and you tell us
okay,
what type of woman would wear each of these rings. What does this ring say about that person's style or who they are?
Okay.
So let's start with this one.
Okay.
This is a emerald cut with taper baguettes on a platinum band.
Okay, I have to put it on because
you have to put it on.
I feel like the person wearing this is just a classic, knows that they never want to swap out their ring, very timeless. It'll always be in style. They really have a respect and admiration for heirlooms. And I feel like it's a ring that would want to be passed down from generation to generation.
I agree. Timeless classic. Love it. This one we were admiring before, which is our Trois Mois. This is our ivy setting with a pear shape and oval diamond.
So I'm obsessed with this. This is for the girl that is indecisive but knows that they can always rely on their jewelry to add something interesting to their outfit, and knows that it will be a conversation starter and enjoys having conversations around style, jewelry, what they're wearing, how to accessorize, and is probably the girl who might play around with a different setting one day, but right now I think this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and I want it.
I love that.
So I mean,
it doesn't necessarily need to be an engagement ring.
Yeah, that's the cool thing too, is if you, it won't fit. Oh, there we go. You can put it on your pointer finger, and it completely changes the look of the ring. I just moved it one finger over, and now it's a completely different ring.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. So I think it's for the girl that loves to accessorize, doesn't leave the house without putting on all her jewelry and her purses and her sunglasses, and knows that the ring is still going to stand out even though they have so much going on in other places.
And I'm someone who, I say go for what you love right now, and you can always reset it. You reset your ring.
I've reset my original engagement ring twice now.
So do you, because some people feel like they have to go with that setting that they'll never change because they think it's taboo to reset it.
The diamond is the important part. The diamond is where the heart is. It's where the emotion lies. It's not, so for me, I'm sure other people are going to have, a different opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But for me, the diamond is that emotional part. It's, what my husband was gravitated towards is holy crap, that's what I want to propose to my wife with. It wasn't the setting, it was the diamond, which is why when I'm sure you have clients come in and look for an engagement ring, the diamond is the emotional part. It's what, when your partner goes to pick out a ring, it's what they're looking at. When you go to start looking at rings, everyone has a different process, but usually, and I'm sure this is how it works for you, you don't start with a bunch of settings. You look at diamonds. It comes in paper with glue in it or something.
Parcel papers.
I've always wanted to understand why is it wrapped in paper?
Well, because you want them to be able to find them easily, but you want them to be individually wrapped, but you don't want it to take up a lot of space. Yeah. So that's why.
That makes a lot of sense. It's just so interesting for something so expensive to come in something that looks like computer paper is like wild, but I kind of love the process. But yeah, like you go in and you usually talk with with whoever you're working with to get your ring, and you say like, I'm interested in this cut, I'm interested in this cut, I don't know what looks good on my finger. And so you have all these diamonds and these little cool long tweezers and they pick up the diamond and they put it on a bunch of different settings, but it always starts with the foundation of the diamond.
I'm always about picking the diamond and then creating the setting around it. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense to do it the other way around, which some people do. And I always say, like, if you pick the setting you love now, and if you want to change it 5, 10, 20 years, like, go for it. Who cares?
It's the diamond that matters.
Yes.
Okay, I will give this back.
So that is you at the moment,
That's
right?
me at the moment.
Okay. This one is a marquee diamond.
Okay.
It's set in like a knife edge pave band in yellow gold.
So I have to be honest, I'm not a marquee girl.
That's fine.
So I'm going to try my hardest to like understand who this girl might be. I feel like it's for the girl that's a little bit, and when I say this, I don't mean it in the way it might come off, so you might have to help me here.
Okay.
But I feel like it's for the girl who's not ready to move with the times quite yet, and is like, you know, lives a very easy, slow lifestyle, like where touching grass is really important to them. I feel like it's just a style that maybe was once like very trendy, very cool, and kind of just like is now hiding in the shadows. But
Selena Gomez has brought it back.
I was just gonna say, I think it's reemerging. I saw a setting of where was I? I was at a charity event for Children's Hospital LA, and the girl sitting next to me had a marquee bezel set signet, and I was stopped in my tracks. I was like, could I be a marquee girl one day?
Could you be this marquee girl?
Okay, so I saw that when you guys my eyes gravitated towards that. I love this. I think for me, if I'm gonna wear marquee, I'm either gonna do full east-west bezel, or I'm gonna do east-west, north-south, south-north, whatever. You get what I'm saying. North-south, like full signet, like this girl had. It was, I wish I took a picture of it. That would make me a marquee girl. But this is definitely, if you're like, I don't know if I like bezel setting or not, I would start with a setting like this, because it's not like too in your face bezel. It's just tasteful enough where like you get the same look as bezel, but still that timeless like vintage look.
And then what about this person? This is an elongated modern cushion with half moon side stones in platinum.
Okay. I love this. And we were talking about this before we started recording. I never thought I would be a 3-stone diamond girl. I mean, here I am trying to make myself fit every personality of these. I'm just obsessed with diamonds. So, I mean, I'm sure every girl is. But Kira, my CBO who's here, she was like, I feel like if you do another ring, which I probably won't because I'm really happy with the one that I have, but if I did another ring, I would do this to like represent my 2 kids. But the problem is I want another kid, so maybe all 3 would represent. Yeah, I feel like this is great for like, you know, They used to call it the past, present, future. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's just that's more eloquent. Yeah. Yes. That was like the original marketing around the 3-stone. I love it. I love it. Okay, last but not least, I'll let you pick which one you want to look at. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's funny because like this one was basically like my original. The oval one was originally like my original ring. I'm gonna put on the pear, and I'll tell you why, because I also like the marquee. I've never been a pear girl. Pears are hot right now. Pears are having a resurgence, and they're very, very classy. Like, I think that you look, anytime I see someone with a pear, I'm like, ooh, that's a classy girl. Like, that is a proper, you're from London, you're not from London, but you look like you're from London. Like, very Princess Kate, Princess Diana. Like, can't go wrong. Very classic, very timeless. They also look really big for their carat weight and their finger flattering, so I think that's why people have been gravitating towards them. Okay, I'm going to guess this carat, and you're going to tell me what it is. Do you know what it is? I'm going to go with 4.8. 5.5. 5.5? Mm-hmm. I mean, I can see why now as I'm like circulating under.
It's a chubby pear though.
It's a chubby pear. It looks like spread out. That's probably...
But kind of close.
Kind of close. I mean, I love it. I also think it's so gorgeous when people take pears and make them into necklaces as well. Like if pear is your first diamond or whatever and you're upgrading or getting a different ring, I've seen a lot of people take their pears and bezel with a cute chain on your neck, on like your neck, and it is gorgeous.
We recently made like a 6-carat pear-shaped pendant and it was sick.
I just think pears are just, I think they're just beautiful.
They're having a moment.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing.
Of course. That was I could do that all day.
We can do it all day.
Yeah.
I can pull out more diamonds if you want later. What is like new on the horizon for Set? Like what can we, expect or look forward to?
We have a lot of exciting product coming this year that I'm so proud of it. We really were so intentional with the color pairings, the layering, the new products that we're expanding into, like really giving that product its moment to shine and like being strategic with where it's placed, the colors it comes in, how to wear it with your active. Black Friday and holiday is going to just be so epic for us this year. Black Friday, and we call it Set Miss, which is in December. And then we are going dark for the rest of December. We're wiping our Instagram account. We are going to be doing some exciting things in 2026, and you guys will have to see what it is, but I can't say now because I looked up at Kira and she literally just gave me the emoji that's I was like, oh,
like quiet.
I can't say that. If she wasn't here, I probably would have spilled way too many beans.
That's why she's here.
Yeah, that's why she's here. She's keeping me in line. I tell everyone Kira and Mimi from our office, who's our data analyst. I call her Mimi-chan. She's my boss and Kira's my boss. Yeah.
Well, I'm really, really excited. What are some, can you give us like just some ideas of, you're in fashion. What are some trends that you're excited to see in fashion, in jewelry, anything right now?
Yeah, I think a lot of trends that I'm seeing in jewelry is definitely still the chunky gold, the bezel set. I'm also really loving the spins that people are taking on tennis necklaces where they're mixing emeralds with pears with rounds all together on one necklace. I just think that's so cool and such a fun way to reiterate the tennis necklace. In terms of like trends for clothes and stuff in the activewear space, recreational gorpcore, like all of that is going to be very big in 2026.
Gorpcore?
It's kind of like outdoor without doing the 12-mile hike. It's like looking like you just did the 12-mile hike. You have the cool water bottle, you're in the mountains, you're touching grass, the whole thing. You're just not doing the 12-mile hike, but you're still getting the really cool content.
That's for me.
Yeah. That's going to be really big, and a lot of nylon, a lot of fleece. Also, like worn in, the idea of worn in, like taking your grandpa's closet, your grandma's closet, your mom's closet, and like having pieces that feel like they have that lived in feeling that aren't too in your face but very simplified, like lots of heather grays. I think that's going to also have a big moment, and I think patterns and stripes and all of those things are also going to be big for 2026. So that's my guess.
So from your first iteration of Set Active and building your community originally online and where you are now, like what are some of the biggest differences that you've seen with like social media and brand building today versus how it was originally?
I'm trying to think. I feel like before, speaking for Set, it was really important to me, and it still is. Like, I'll remind Kira every so often, like, transparency is so important to me. Like, people are, again, how we started the podcast, they're spending their hard-earned money on your brand. You need to talk to your consumer. And I feel like if you're a brand in this day that's not talking to your consumer and you're just following that marketing playbook of buy this, need this, again, like, I don't think you're going to be that successful. I think that brands, especially going into the next couple of years, are going to be prioritizing activating their consumers and their community over influencers. And I think there's going to be a new strategy for how you interact with influencers and get influencers to speak about your brand. So I'm excited to like see how that plays out and test those waters. But having a community for any brand is going to be your brand's superpower. And I'm like literally giving you the answer. It's like giving you the study guide to your final in school. Like, I'm telling you, if you're a brand in the D2C space, prioritize your community.
Love that. So where can we all shop, follow, all of that good stuff?
You can shop at setactive.co. You can follow Set Active on Instagram. Me personally, I'm Lindsey Carter on Instagram, and I have a lot of fun in my broadcast channel, which is called Linny's Circle. I chat in there like it's my giant group text. I like feel like I'm annoying sometimes, but I just sent an update. I'm like, hey, I'm on the way to this. Like, this is what I'm wearing. I'm so excited. And yeah, that's where you can follow me. I also have a Substack. I write a lot about business strategy, marketing.
How do you do it all? Oh my God.
Again, I treat every day differently. I prioritize every day as if it's a new day. And I wake up, I don't check my calendar in advance. I always check it the night before to see what the next day looks like. And I make sure I can like prioritize depending on my calendar, where my free spots are, what activities do my kids have that I need to be present for. And when you simplify it down to taking it day by day, it's not as overwhelming.
Okay, I got to take that advice, because I'm like, I don't know how to add more, but I want to.
I get it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure. And it was so amazing to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. I think like playing with the diamonds was definitely my favorite part. Yay!